Actually, first, I'm going to ask you further questions. Please go ahead and stand up already. And based on your understanding of where Miss Woods was in the roadway, how far away is True Love's Auto from there?
Somewhere around a quarter of a mile.
So the scene would have been just out of visibility of these cameras?
Yes, sir. It was a little bit south of, there's actually, if I remember correctly, there's a billboard or something there that kind of blocks, so you don't see actual impact on the south side.
And when you reviewed this footage, did you observe any vehicles that you thought matched the suspect vehicle?
Yes, sir.
All right. And can you come down here and kind of walk us through what we see in the video? And can you take your time saying, did that match or close to the similar match the time you thought the accident occurred?
No, sir. Generally when we go to look at videotapes, if there's a date and a time stamp, we'll try to match that to the current time for the day that we're looking at. So this particular video, I documented that it was 1 minute faster than normal time. This is, assuming this is camera angle 1, there were 3 camera angles. 1 and 3 kind of look south. The number 2 angle looks north. But like I said, the collision scene is going to be south, which is what you're seeing here. You want to play it? What you'll see is you'll start seeing headlights down underneath this billboard right here. It should start coming into the picture right here. And as it passes, you notice there's only one headlight. Okay. As it slows down to make a U-turn, and you can notice that it's dark in color, and on a regular computer screen you see better, but it's actually the shape of an SUV, which is what we're looking for. It goes down, out of sight. You see the brake lights come on, and then you'll notice that the high beams or the headlights will actually shine up into the trees, meaning you turn around again. So it turns around, does another U-turn, and this time it's going slower because it's not moving as fast as it was the first time. Slows down. And as this car comes in, which we identified as our 911 caller, comes up, it drives away. As you can still see one headlight.
Thank you. And so now we're armed with an interview from the defendant, a video, and the initial reports from Trooper Love. Did y'all formulate an accident or do an accident reconstruction?
Yes, it was over the course of those months, though.
Okay.
What we did determine that Mr. Richardson was driving a 2002 Chevrolet Tahoe traveling north on US 52 when he struck Miss Woods. He did make a U-turn, pull back by her body, make another U-turn and pull up somewhere close, take a look, which he admitted to, and then he drove away north.
And the vehicle in the video only having one headlight would be consistent with the headlight being knocked out.
Yes.
Headlight assembly, just I believe states Exhibit 2.
Correct, yes, sir.
All right. Bench course indulgence. No further questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Cross-examination. Yes, you may please court. Morning, Trooper Luther.
Come on.
Okay, court is available for 1 moment. Trooper Luther, we met yesterday.
Yes.
I'm Virgil Vaughn, representing Mr. Richardson. I I want to go back and I guess pick up where you left off with Solicitor Anderson.
Yes.
Now, in your interview with Mr. Richardson, he never expressly said, I hit Miss Woods, I saw Miss Woods, I hit her. He did not say that, is that correct?
He did not come out and specifically say, he just kept saying, I didn't see where she came from.
But he did not say, I saw and hit Miss Woods. That would be a no, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you said that in keeping with his statement that he turned around. Now, on the interview, he said, I turned around and I didn't see anything. Is that correct?
He actually said he stopped and backed up. First, he told me he didn't do anything. Then when I started questioning him about telling me the truth, he said he stopped and backed up and looked.
And he never said that I looked and saw him. I looked and saw something. He did not say that. Is that correct?
He never said he turned around either.
Okay.
Correct.
Now, I want to go back and let's go back through the statement, your interview with Mr. Richardson. Now, your interview happened with him on February of 2019. Is that correct?
February 7th, yes, sir.
February 2nd. Now,
7th.
7th.
Yes, sir.
Now, the incident happened in October of 2018.
Correct.
Okay, so when you were seeing there roughly been about 5 months
Yes,
lag time between when it happened and when you were actually able to talk to him, is that?
Yes, sir.
That's correct, okay. So it wasn't as if you were going to see him the next day, it was sometime thereafter?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I'm assuming that sometime thereafter, you posted billboards, people were talking. I'm presuming that if he thought he ran into something, he might have got word 5 months down the road that he might have run into something.
You would think so.
Okay. So I guess my point is when you were the first law enforcement officer that spoke to Mr. Richardson about this incident.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, some of the things I heard in the interview, I want to make sure I got this correct, and I wrote some of the things down verbatim that you said. I believe you said something to the effect of, there's two kinds of people that would do this, someone who intentionally did it and someone who didn't know what they were doing. Is that correct? You remember saying something to that effect?
Not in the video, not in audio we played in here. No.
But you did
Yes,
say
sir.
that.
I did say that, correct.
Okay, so you would agree with me that the audio that was played here today, that is not the entire audio that happened between you and Mr. Richardson?
Correct, yes, sir.
So based on that, you would agree that there were other things that were said that were not played?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you do remember saying that?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. You also said in the interview, I believe you stated, maybe you didn't know what you hit. Were you just saying that by chance, or did you have a good belief that maybe he didn't know what he hit?
When you're interviewing somebody, sometimes we will leave them out to try to find out exactly what they know. Whether he knew what he hit at the time or he didn't know what he hit at the time, I wanted him to tell me exactly what he did do. So I said, maybe he did know what you did, to see if he would tell me exactly what he did.
Well, that's an interesting point, because one of the things you also said in the interview is you started off by saying, I already know all the answers, right? You said you'd already did all the interviews, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if you already knew all the answers, then you would know if he didn't hit anybody, if he didn't know he hit anybody, right?
I need to hear what he's going to tell me. I can't go off of what I know. I need to also talk to him and find out what he did.
Okay, but you did say that maybe you didn't know what you hit.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you also said in this interview, if I get this, I want to make sure I get this correct, you also said, I don't believe you meant to do it. Is that correct?
I would hope he didn't mean to do it. Correct, yes, sir.
Well, I mean, you didn't say that. You said verbatim, I don't believe you meant to do it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, as an investigating officer, I mean, you wouldn't just throw that out in conjecture. Based on what you investigated, you didn't believe you did it.
I don't think he did it. I don't think he meant to do it.
Okay, so in the course of your interview as the investigating officer, in this interview that you already said, you didn't hear all of, you told Mr. Richardson, maybe you didn't know what you did. You said that. Not you're saying that you said it because you've given him an out, but you did say it. You also said, I don't think you meant to do it. You said that.
Yes, sir.
And we also know that Mr. Richardson did not say that he saw Ms. Woods and that he hit her, and he knew he hit her. He did not say that.
When I'm saying, going back to what you said, when I'm saying he did not know what he hit, that's at the time he hit it. The time he hit Ms. Woods, maybe he didn't know what he hit, but he turned around twice pulled up, looked, and then drove away.
Okay, let's stay there, because I'm glad you brought that up. So we can now establish that, based on what you just testified to, at the moment it happened, he did not know when he hit.
Possibly.
Okay, all right, so we can go there. So I'm gonna come back to that. I want to talk a little bit about the report, okay? Now, as part of the MATE team, that stands for Multidisciplinary Action Team, okay? How long have you been a part of this team?
11 years.
11 years. You do a lot of investigations of accidents, probably fatalities around the state, is that correct?
Yes,
Have you ever been involved in an accident or fatality around the Williamsburg County area?
Yes, sir.
Now, you were in the courtroom yesterday when Trooper Lovett testified, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I think I cited about 5 fatality accidents happening in that stretch of road in Williamsburg County,
Yes, sir.
and you were here for that?
Yes, sir.
Were you a part of any of those investigations?
I'm sure I was, yes, sir.
Okay, and I asked, I'm sorry.
Most of the time, we don't know we just know the defendants most of the time. I mean, it's not the accidents that we get involved in. So, yes, sir, but I'm sure I was involved in some of those.
Now, I'll ask you the same question I asked Trooper Lovett. Would it be common knowledge that this stretch of road would be dangerous for pedestrians to be walking on at night?
Yes, sir, it's dangerous, right?
It is dangerous. And I believe you also said in the interview, and I think if my hearing is correct, I think you were like pounding your finger on the paper. You said she was at fault in the wreck. Is that correct?
She was shown at fault in the wreck, yes, sir.
And she was shown at fault in the wreck, but you investigated, and based on your investigation, it was proven that she was at fault in the wreck.
Yes, sir, but I wasn't there to prove Mr. Richardson was at fault in the collision.
I agree.
Mr. Richardson, I tracked him down because he left the scene.
But all of these events are connected, right? You wouldn't be tracking someone down if something didn't happen.
Correct.
Okay, so based on that, we have to look at the entire report and the entire investigation process, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We investigate all of them.
Okay, so now, going back, she was not at fault in the accident. She was at fault in the accident. You said that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you've already testified that based on your investigation, maybe you didn't know what he hit. We talked about that. Now, I want to go back to 52. You said, as I just asked you, it'd be common knowledge that this road would be dangerous for pedestrians.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we watched this video, correct? And you said that camera is pointing out towards the road.
Yes, sir.
Now, just with your general eyesight, it looks pretty dark, correct?
Yes, sir.
I mean, it does not look highly visible. Would that be correct?
Correct. On the
Okay.
camera.
All right, so let's talk about the turning around. Now, I believe that in the interview, Mr. Richardson, once you went back and forth with him, he said, I back up,
Yes, sir.
right?
He said that.
He backed up, and he said, I didn't see nothing, and I kept going. Now, you would agree with me, in the cover of darkness, just looking out at that, you would not be able to see anything.
Well, the 911 caller saw her and stopped.
I'm asking, based on what I'm looking at, the same screen you're looking at,
And
would it be believable that you would not be able to see anything based on what I'm looking at in that screen?
yes, sir, that camera.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. I just want to make sure I got that correct. All right, so we know that based on your testimony that at that time he didn't believe he knew what he hit. We testified that it is very dark out there. So it is possible that he didn't see anything.
He on his own admission saw something.
He saw something, but it's possible that he did not see a person. Is that possible?
He's on the same stretch of road with a 911 caller that stopped and waited.
Yes or no, Trooper Luther? Is it possible?
Yes, anything is possible.
Is it probable? It's at nighttime, the Lord says a dangerous stretch of highway.
I wouldn't
It's
say
not-
probable.
Okay, but it's possible.
I guess anything is possible.
Anything is possible. But now, I want to go back to the investigation. Okay, so you do the report,
Yes.
right? Part of the report is you got to figure out who was where, when it happened. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so you do this report, you factor in that Ms. Woods, and you said before, was at fault in the accident. Now, I want to go back to the testimony that we heard earlier from Dr. Bautista. I'm butchering his name. Now, you work for the South Carolina Highway Patrol, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm assuming that you've been involved in traffic stops, DUIs, things like that. Would that be correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Trooper, as a South Carolina Highway Patrol law enforcement officer, if I were involved in an incident, well, I hit somebody with my car, and my labs got sent off to, my blood got sent off to the labs, and it came back that things were in my system, would I be charged with driving while impaired?
It depends on what the levels would be.
What if just on, would that be a problem? Would I be charged with driving under the influence?
If the levels are high.
If the level was higher enough, but most likely I would.
That goes back to if the levels were high enough, you would be charged.
I would be charged.
If the levels were high enough.
Okay, so it's fair to say that along with being at fault in the incident, Ms. Wood was also impaired.
I don't know what Ms. Wood's levels were. The doctor testified to it, but that's outside of the realm of what with cocaine metabolite and stuff. I can't testify to any of that stuff. So.
If that were in the person's system and they were driving the car, would you have charged them with DUI or being under the
If
impairment?
the levels were high enough.
If the levels were higher, okay. Now, we know that she was at fault. We know that, like you said before, it's possible he didn't even see her. And you said he turned around. Now, the other thing I want to talk about with one of your quotes is, you said, I don't even know if it would have mattered. What did you mean by that?
Meaning, if her injury was so severe with him stopping, would he have been able to help her? That's what I meant by that. So
there's a possibility that no matter what happened that night after the hit, it would not have mattered either way.
No, I'm not going to say that because the law is pretty clear about what you need to do.
I that's what I said, based on what you stated.
I don't know how severe her injuries were that night. Like I said, we didn't pick it up until the 8th. So obviously she was injured severely.
You also said in this interview, and just like you testified here today, you said it was a dark road. Is that?
Yes, sir. It's clearly a dark road.
Okay. And these are all things that you said during the interview.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if I'm keeping track, I know that Mr. Richardson never said in the interview that he saw Ms. Woods and he hit her and he pulled back around and he saw her and just left. He never said that. That is something he never said, correct? Yes or no?
He said he backed up and looked.
But he never said he saw her.
Because he was scared, correct? He said he saw something.
He said he saw something. He never said he saw a person. Is that correct? Okay. But now what you said it was a dark road. Yes? You said it was a dark road.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you said that. You said, I don't know if it would have mattered. You said that, correct?
Yes,
okay. You said that she was at fault in the record. You said that.
Yes.
Okay. You said maybe you didn't even know what you hit. That is something you said, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so true. I'm looking at all the things you said, and I'm looking at what Mr. Richardson didn't say. How did you determine that he said he hit Ms. Woods? How did you make that determination? You know that she's at fault. You know what he didn't say. You know it's dark. How did you make this determination?
Through what Mr. Richardson said, the parts that came off of his car that we matched back, he admitted to driving, he admitted to hitting something in the roadway. He turned around, his admission was he backed up, saw something. He got scared. Normally people don't get scared when they hit a deer. Okay? He got scared, he left. He even thought about turning himself in the next day under his own admission. People don't do that hit deer.
Well, let's talk about that. Now, he said that he was honest, right? He said, I had 2 warrants.
Yes, sir.
Okay. He didn't say, I was thinking about turning myself in on the accident. He said, I was thinking about turning myself in because I had 2 warrants.
I guess I'll read into it what I need to, and I guess you're reading into it about the warrant, turning yourself in.
I'm just asking clearly, just for the jury. That's what he said, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let's talk about also what he said. He said multiple times, I did not see that. I did not see anything. I I don't know what happened. He said that multiple times, correct?
He said, I don't know where she came from.
But he said that after you told him that it was a she involved.
Yes, sir. He knows
Okay.
about the collision.
So I want to back up. He didn't, when you came to interview him, he didn't just start saying, I don't know where she came from. You said, and you hit Ms. Woods, and I believe there was a pause. There was no one said anything. And then he said, I don't know what happened. I'm still trying to figure out what happened. I believe that's a direct verbatim quote. That is a direct quote, right? He said, I did not know what happened. Okay, so Mr. Richardson, in your interview, multiple times did say, I don't know what happened. Mr. Richardson, in your interview, never said, I saw Ms. Woods. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, I do want to go back to that highway stretch of 52. Now, Mr. Richardson said, I believe I heard him in the interview, you correct me if I'm wrong. I was riding, all of a sudden I heard a boom, 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 and I think he used, I'm paraphrasing, but I believe that's what he said. Did you hear that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. On that stretch of highway, is there sometimes debris in the road?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm sure every highway in South Carolina.
Every highway has it.
Yes, sir.
Are there sometimes in South Carolina major potholes in the
Yes,
road? And would it be possible if I was rolling down this highway and there's a major pothole, my car goes over, my car shakes,
Yes, sir.
it starts making a weird noise, that's possible?
It normally doesn't knock out your headlight, your turn signals, and your mirror. But yes, sir, it is possible.
Okay, all right, it's possible. Now, I want to talk about that. Now, the debris that Trooper Lovett picked up, right, based on the report, there was no blood on it, correct?
Not to my knowledge, no, sir.
Okay, so there's no blood on the debris. Was there blood on the Tahoe when you inspected it?
I did not inspect it. You'll have to ask
Okay.
Trooper Lee about that. I never went out and looked at the top.
So Trooper, let's say I run over a pothole, my car starts shaking, I pull over, I get out, or I look down, I don't see blood, I don't see anything crazy, wouldn't I just pull away and leave?
If I back it up and saw what I thought was a body, I wouldn't just pull away and leave.
But Trooper, he never said that.
But that's the question you asked me was if you back over a pothole, look back and didn't see anything. He saw something.
He saw something, that something could have been a deer.
I would have got out and checked. Personally, me, you're asking my opinion, I would have checked, but
Could it have been a deer? Is it possible to hit a deer out on Highway 52?
I'm sure.
And I would probably say it's not more possible, it's probable, correct?
I'm sure there's deer in Williamsburg County.
Have you ever seen deer on that stretch of highway laid out?
I'm sure of the years, yes, sir.
Have you ever seen deer laid out on the side of the road
Yes, sir.
indicating they've been hit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it's possible that you could hit something like that
Yes, sir.
and keep going. Now, I want to make sure that, and I'm about to sit down here, Trooper, I appreciate you answering all my questions and being so candid with me. After you met with Mr. Richardson, what did you do next in this case?
What did I do next?
Yes, what was your next step?
We actually, I can't remember if we did the car just prior to Mr. Richardson, or we'd have to look back. It might have been right after I talked to Mr. Richardson, we located the Tahoe and matched the parts back up. From that point, the report was written, and it was passed over to the solicitor's office.
Okay, thank you, Trooper. I appreciate you answering all my questions.
I just have a few follow-up questions based on the questions Mr. Barr just answered. He asked you a whole bunch of questions about the statement Mr. Richardson made.
Yes, sir.
We can agree that he said, I don't know where she came from,
Correct.
multiple times. We can agree that in the interview he said that he told his girlfriend about what happened and that he was going to turn himself in.
Correct.
He asked you about the interview, and we talked a little bit about visibility out there on the road. In the interview, Mr. Richardson said he had his high beams on, isn't that right?
Yes, sir.
You agree that that increases your ability to see things on a dark road.
Yes, sir. It does.
And as we know, the person in the video that pulls in behind the vehicle with one headlight was the 911 caller.
Correct, yes, sir.
They didn't have any trouble seeing Miss Woods there in the median, did they?
No, sir.
They didn't say anything about seeing a deer out there, did they?
No, sir.
He asked you a lot of questions about who is at fault in the accident, whether Miss Woods is at fault in the accident. You didn't charge him with being at fault in the accident, did you?
No, sir.
You charged him with leaving the scene of the accident.
Correct, yes, sir.
All right. I don't have any further questions.
Thanks, brother. No further questions. Thank you, sir.
All right, we can call Trooper Lee.
Left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm that information you give this court and jury be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you. And Trooper Lee, will you give us your full name for the record?
William Marcus Lee.
What's your rank at Highway Patrol?
I'm a corporal of South Carolina Highway Patrol mate.
All right. So you work on the MATE team?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us a little bit about your training and experience to be on the MATE team?
Started the Highway Patrol in December, well, I got out of the academy in December of 2008. In May of 2015, I transferred to MATE. Then I've had numerous classes, probably over 800 hours of training.
Can you kind of just walk through what your training entailed?
I've had scene collision investigation, technical collision investigation, primarily dealing with time and distance calculations. I've had collision reconstruction training dealing with momentum and scene diagramming, various photography courses, some advanced momentum training as far as speed calculations on that goes. Also, part of what we do with MATE, I've done fragmentation analysis. I've been taught how to do that. I'm also a MATE mechanic, and for the reason as far as determining for vehicle failure, and I also do tire examinations and length examinations.
All right. And have you been qualified as an expert in the field of accident reconstruction before?
Yes, I have.
Christian News TY would like to thank you for watching. Please share this video